Okay, I want to let you know in advance that this is a video which I'm going to have a little bit of a rant. I'm going to try and make it a constructive rant. Basically, the subject is about mixed relationships, specifically white men and Asian women. In recent years, I'd say roughly the last 10 years, there's been quite a lot of focus on these relationships. White men, specifically Western men, and Asian women, East Asian women. And there's been quite a lot of scrutiny of it. Initially, it's sort of light-hearted people, so this is a little bit of a... People didn't take it very seriously. But I've been noticing something of a backlash, so to speak, to the point where it's getting quite prominent online. You see a lot of very hateful comments, very, in my opinion, bigoted comments. Now, I should say I do speak from experience. I'm a white guy, and I've had relationship with Asian women. I've had experience. So, the sort of stereotypes I tend to notice is that the white guys, this is a stereotype, they are losers, who are desperate, who are weak-minded men, who like to subdue women, who have an Asian fetish, so-called Asian fetish, who like to have control over women. And they're desperate, they can't get a white girlfriend, and so they're resorting to going to Asian girls. The Asian girls are stereotyped as weak, as submissive, as often stereotyped as gold diggers, who only go with the white men because they want their money. So I'd like to break down some of these stereotypes. Firstly, I'm not saying that there aren't examples to be found. I'm not saying that there aren't some white men who will go for Asian women thinking that they are weak. But there's something that needs to be understood here. A lot of Western guys, I think, find a femininity in Asian women that's very appealing. I do myself. And there's a big difference between that and so-called submissiveness or weakness. I'm not saying other women don't have it, but I think it's quite common with Asian women. Now, my question is, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with a heterosexual male being attracted to femininity? In my opinion, that's a completely normal thing in a heterosexual relationship. So, if white guys see this femininity, they're attracted to it. Why is that such a terrible thing? That does not mean that they see these women as submissive. It simply means that it's a theory of opposites attract. They like that femininity. Like I say, I'm not saying there aren't examples to be found of men who will like Asian women because they can control them. But that's patronising towards Asian women. It's insinuating that they're weak little girls who can't handle themselves. There are many examples of Asian women who are successful business women, who are outspoken, who are strong-minded women. They aren't weak, submissive little girls. So this idea that that's the case needs to be thrown out. As for white men, the sort of stereotypes levelled against them, I have come across many relationships, white men and Asian women, that are very happy, very equal, and frankly, certainly on the surface, seem a lot more happy than some same-race relationships, for want of a better term. And what I resent is this notion that these sort of abusive relationships only exist within mixed relationships, as if you never get violent men or controlling men within a white-white relationship, or a black-black relationship, or whatever. But I think the thing I most resent is these people who talk about men like myself as only going for Asian women. By the way, I don't only go for Asian women. I can honestly say I'm attracted to women from all backgrounds. Um, but this idea that guys like myself are controlling, the question is who's really controlling? Someone who's trying to get on with their life, they're attracted to who they're attracted to, or other people who look at that and think they can judge them without knowing the full story, without knowing the background, and based on some stereotypes that they've come across on the internet, or because they've seen one or two examples, they think that applies to everyone. I treat women with respect and equality in terms of my relationship with them. I get on very well with women, all women. Yes, I have a lot of Asian female friends, and I make no apology for that. But I get on well with women in general, and I'm so sick of these sort of stereotypes, and they tend to come from either Western feminists, but then again they will always find a reason to be pissed off at men, and they'll always find a reason to vilify men. This is just the latest, that white guys who go for Asian women must be chauvinistic control freaks who like to keep the women down and this sort of thing. It's nothing of the sort. So it comes from feminists. It also comes from Asian guys sometimes, and this isn't to generalize. I know plenty of Asian guys who couldn't care less, but there are a minority of Asian men who sort of see this. I think it's a jealousy thing. They have this idea in their head. It's a sort of form of Western colonialism, like we're taking their women or something. This is also something I resent, because that then insinuates that they have ownership over their women, and that's something I strongly resent. I never look at a girl who has a boyfriend already. I never play games in that way. So these guys, in my opinion, have absolutely no right to say who their countrywomen should and shouldn't be with. I think there is a social phenomenon in this. China, to give an example, has a shortage of women, but you can't blame white guys for that. You can't blame Western guys. If there's any fault in that, it's in Chinese culture, which preferred male babies. That's not my fault. And as for Western feminists, maybe the reason men are put off you is because you never stop bitching about men. You never stop putting men down. You never stop vilifying men. You never stop making men feel guilty. I'm not a chauvinist. I believe in equality. I believe in equal opportunity, and I've often spoken up for women's rights. But I am not going to be told by any feminist, or anyone for that matter, who I should and shouldn't date. It's just a perverse idea that you can dictate who someone else should be with. The only time there might be a case for intervention is if it's a friend of yours and you can see a clear case of abuse going on. But otherwise, it's none of your damn business. In my opinion, love and relationships should be absolutely free. It should be a case of freedom of choice, so long as both people involved are consenting adults, so long as they're not cheating on anyone else, and so long as they treat each other well. Then it's no one else's business. It really, really isn't. And this whole thing about white men and Asian women, the sort of stereotypes that are coming out, like I say, you can find those in white relationships, i.e. the submissive aspect and the controlling men aspect, that sort of thing. You can find that in white relationships. But why do they not mention this? The reality is they are bigots, and they cannot stand the fact that some white men happen to be attracted to Asian women and happen to be involved in these relationships. And then you get some Asian guys who then try to distort and say, oh, they say similar things, it's white men trying to control these women and so on. It's no one's business but the people involved. And it does bug me, because I know what my intentions are, I know what my values are, and I know I treat all women with respect. Just because I happen to be attracted to Asian women does not mean I have anything against white women or black women or Hispanic women. People just happen to have things that I just particularly like to happen. I just happen to particularly like Asian women. And that's my right. And it does not make me a bigot or a chauvinist or anything else that you may imagine. So my message to the haters is go to hell. It's none of your business. If you're an Asian guy and if your girlfriend's being taken by a white guy, you have my sympathy, but it's not my fault. Sure, hate that guy, but don't take it out on every single Western man. If you're a Western feminist, then don't judge people before you know them, before you know their personal situation. I'm not saying there aren't examples where there are Western men who might only be in it because they want to control women. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I contend that you can get that in any sort of relationship. And I'm not saying some women aren't gold diggers, they are. But again, it's a gross unfair generalization to say that they all are. So yeah, my summary of this video is relationships should be about free choice. And it really is no one's business, the people involved. And if you look at other people and you say, oh, they shouldn't be together, then I have news for you. You're an ignorant bigot. And that's all you are. You have no moral high ground. You're just an ignorant bigot who thinks that they know the whole story. Now, you may be concerned about one particular relationship. If the person involved in that is a friend of yours, fair enough. But don't make a generalization of all these relationships, because I'm seeing this backlash and it's pissing me off, because the people who have a problem with this are just small-minded people. They call guys like me losers. Well, who's the real loser? Someone who's trying to get on with their life and be happy, or the control freaks who are trying to dictate to him who he should and shouldn't be with? Go to hell. Really. Because I have no malicious intent towards anyone. I just want to have happiness, which is a fundamental human right. And you have no right to tell me or anyone else who we shouldn't and shouldn't be with. So I'll leave it at that.